What's going on, everybody? Scar Titan here once again with another episode of Smoke Signals and Side Quests. You are here for episode number 4. But before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos from your favorite crew over here at Smoke Signals and Side Quests. You can check us out every single Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or you can find us over for just the audio versions on Spotify and Amazon Music. Will be coming to Apple Music very soon. But before we get started, let's go ahead and bring our first co-host to the stage, Mr. Red Beard Riot.
The most rioty. What's going on?
Of all the rioting.
That's right. That's right. Ooh.
How was your week? Looks like
we're doing good.
It's been a hot one out there.
Yeah. Oh, it's toasty. It's toasty. It's probably about 105 today here, and that's no good. Other than that, just surviving. Well, surviving the heat. We got a air conditioner that's needs a little bit of maintenance, so it's not running as strong as it could be. We're over here Southern style with like the fan, like, oh Lord.
Good heavens.
Yeah. But not bad. Not too bad. We got another delivery out, sent the trailer out to place up north a little bit called Bear Lake. Gorgeous area, absolutely gorgeous. The drive up there they make you go like you think you're driving through a painting. Just like, man,
those are the best kind of drives. Those nice scenic drives,
right? And I would have even filmed a little bit of that, but there's quite a bit of like twisty canyon road. And look, I don't have the setup. I don't have like the stick up the camera and film your drive. It's like you with your cell phone and
right.
No. When the speed limit goes from 50 miles an hour to 25 miles around 25 miles per hour around a hairpin turn. No,
I love those.
No, you both hands on the wheel. I don't have full auto drive. And then you try not to look at all the cool crap around you. So yeah, that was good. That was good. I did spend a little bit of time this week thinking about how getting older is making me more irritable, and maybe I'm, that apparently is probably like a big duh moment. But in particular, very specifically, as I get older, find that I'm becoming very irritated with safety features.
Please explain.
So here's an example for you. You're driving down the highway, and maybe you're out in the middle of nowhere, long stretch of road. They have these little divots that are cut in the side of in the pavement along the side of the road. The rumble strips, right?
Yep.
I got no problem. Right? This is practical. It makes good sense. It's perfect. Okay. How come when I come out of the grocery store, there's a giant piece of Lego on the ground, bolted to the cement that I got to run over with my cart, break my eggs, break the glass, shake up all the soda? What's the problem here? Are people falling asleep at the cart?
That's a good call. I actually never gave that much thought outside of it. Sure is annoying to your point, but it doesn't prevent people from plowing into the front of your store. You would need a good solid pylon for that.
No, apparently people cannot be bothered to look up from, I don't know, their feet, their phone, whatever it is, to see that they are getting ready to walk across the street.
That is a good question. I wonder what the true purpose of that is.
I suppose you could be like, oh, maybe it's for blind people. Blind people don't read Braille with their feet, okay?
Braille with your feet.
No. So that, just a few little things that are irritating me. But other than that, we're doing well here, and happy to be back.
Good. Well, we are happy to have you. Let's go ahead and bring on our next co-host. Coming in from the set of Up in Smoke, Cheech and Chong. We've got Chong with us today. Sergeant Grumpy Pants, how are you?
Hey, man. How's it going?
I had a little ongoing joke with Grumpy Pants Redbeard before we got the show started that he looks like Chong from Cheech and Chong with his whole getup.
Indeed, sir.
How was your week, Sergeant Grumpy Pants?
Is that cultural appropriation?
Probably. Well, I don't know, actually. Could be. Week was good. Very, very entertaining. 4th of July happened. It was amazing. Great fireworks display, or firecrackers, in accordance with the state that I reside
in. Absolutely.
And no footage was taken because I do not dare try to incriminate myself at all. Family came over. It was really, really fun. Day of swimming, day of barbecuing. And they wound up staying until Thursday. All the kids, the nephews, the nieces, the nephews, they stayed. They just wanted to have sleepovers. And I said, yeah, go ahead. And so my sister-in-law basically said, are you okay with this many kids in the house? I was like, I actually kind of prefer it because the noise, when it's too quiet, it's a little unnerving. It's just the missus and myself. So we, needless to say, really, really had a great time with them here. Late nights, a lot of video games, a lot of just commotion and fun, right? It would have been more fun had the missus not fallen ill. She was very, very sick this last week. The day after 4th of July on Sunday, she got something. I don't know what it was, but it get to that time where I'm like, do I need to take you to the hospital? And she's like, no, I'll give it 5 days. After that, if I don't feel better, then I'll go. I'm like, all right, cool. That's what the hospital basically says to you anyways. I'm like, well, go home, just up your fluid intake if you're vomiting or, peeing out your butt. Make sure you're drinking something with a lot of electrolytes. So
you're not currently dying. Go home.
Yeah, you're fine. Just rub some dirt on it. You'll be okay. Here's some Motrin. And basically that's what we did. She just kind of was on the mend. Not to say that she had any of those symptoms, but she was feeling very, very ill. And she started feeling very much better, say, on Thursday when the kids went home. So I was like, oh, convenient. I was the one who had to take over the home for the entire time with all the kids.
Send it home with all the kids.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Sounded like she came down with a case of the responsibilities.
That's right.
Could have been. Don't know. It happens that way sometimes. But no, it was good that she feels better. And I'm glad that she feels better. And now the house, there's a very nice calm about it, the atmosphere. But when they all went home, I was like, it's just too quiet. My oldest is in college. Now I have my youngest here. And when the cousins aren't here, I'm just like, the house is just, I can hear it breathing almost. It's a little unnerving, but a nice week other than that. How was your Cigar Titan?
You might want to have a priest take a look at that.
All right.
If it's humming, there's probably more to it. But my week was good. My week was good. I spent most of the week up in Northern California this week. I was doing some work up there and traveling around. But it was funny because on the way back, it's crazy how many people I actually bump into that I know inside of airports. So I was coming back from San Jose back down to Southern California, and I noticed somebody who happened to look very familiar sitting across the way while we were waiting for our plane to arrive. And so this happened to be somebody that is mutually known between my fiance and actually my sister. And so I sent her a text message. I was like, hey, I think so-and-so is sitting across from me. And she's like, oh, send me a picture of her. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be the guy sitting across the airport with a phone. Zoom.
Creeper.
Yeah, exactly. Taking a picture of some random person, God forbid I get that wrong. I said, I'm just going to go over there and ask. And so I did. And it turned out to be who I thought it was. And she was flying back in. So it's just crazy because I bump into coworkers. I bump into people I know. And it's never in the airport closest to where I live either, where I run into them. I've ran into people I know out of Texas. I've run into people I know when I was up in Oregon. I ran into somebody I knew when I was out in Vegas. So it's just weird running into people when you're not home, out and about thousands of miles away. So it was cool. But other than that, yeah, nice.
Was it similar to being a kid when you see a teacher at a grocery store and you're like, oh my God, they leave the school grounds?
Oh, no. My teachers hated me growing up. So
didn't know if it was the same feeling.
Yeah, no, they hated me. But gentlemen, we've got quite a show for you today. So, but before we get into that, Redbeard,
Oh my.
we've got some apologies we need to get through this week.
Yeah. Once again, our blue-haired HR lady has handed me a note. Doesn't want us to get in trouble with the legal department or some such nonsense. So very quickly, we will go ahead and make sure that we send out our deepest apologies to Freedom Chickens, Garth Brooks, Christy Alley, Pablo Picasso, everyone who watched Citizen Vigilante, Kristen Dunst, Forrest Gump, The Founding Fathers, Team America, James Vanderbeek, Kevin Costner, and Chevy Chase. Also, we have a couple of welcomes. We have have some welcomes into the into this crazy nonsense. We want to welcome Sean Solar, Daniel Hull, and Fox Valley Independent Media.
Yes.
Nice. And we also apologize to them for being so shitty. Anyway.
It's funny. I was watching a clip this week, and just because the last couple of weeks there's been a lot of attention being given to Citizen Vigilante and Army Hammer. I guess he sent out a recent clip of him either on his birthday or a day before his birthday. I can't remember. Looks like he's moved back out to Hollywood and was actually selling his truck at a CarMax because, in his own words, he cannot afford the gas out here in California. So he's going to be getting a hybrid to get him to and from where he needs to be. But just goes to show you, when you've got folks, that even come from wealthy families and have done movies, they come out to California and they can't afford the gas. So Gavin Newsom, how the hell do you expect everybody else out here to afford the gas?
We call it California dreaming.
That's right. That's right.
Will he be able to afford the smart car tax?
Oh, probably not. Probably not.
I don't know if hybrids get hit with the electric car tax.
I don't know if they do either.
That would be really rude because you'd have to pay both gas tax and the EV tax. Ouch.
Yeah.
That's how you kill the hybrid market in California.
We'll leave it to
All
Gavin
right,
Newsom
gentlemen.
to kill anything.
Yeah. Anything that's good, I'm sure Gavin Newsom will ruin for sure. But let's go ahead and get into our first segment for today. Top story. It's been all over the media this week. So Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin, Mr. Tyler Robinson, and some of the controversy around that. Now, Charlie Kirk gets publicly executed on stage, and there's been a ton of conspiracy theories that have been flowing around out there and everything else. But let's go ahead and get into the first segment of the show that we like to call the burn line. So, gentlemen, I'm sure everybody here today,
how can you miss it?
Yeah, is familiar with Charlie Kirk, and at least at a minimum, some of the controversy and news surrounding Charlie Kirk's passing and all of that. That's fair to say.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Yeah. So this week, there was a preliminary hearing going on out in the great state of Utah, I believe. And there were some interviews, and they had, I believe it was Tyler Robinson's alleged trans furry lover. I think that's
politically correct.
Yeah. Who was actually up in the court and giving his testimony this week on that. And so I found it interesting. I was kind of following along with all of it. I haven't been watching the trial in too much detail. I don't know, gentlemen, are either of you watching this in really good detail?
No, well, the trial is still in preliminary. So they haven't actually started anything yet. They're
He
still
did enter
doing
a plea, though.
Okay, right.
On July 9th, he entered a not guilty plea.
Right. That precedes opening statements, right? If we're talking about a criminal trial. And so they're still sort of in that phase where we're presenting this evidence, and it's not unlike jury selection, where you go down to the courthouse, you go sit up in the box if you haven't been excused, and they'll ask you questions, and the prosecution or the defense will either say, oh well, we're good with this juror, and then the opposite side may dismiss you or say this one is also good as well. And so that's sort of the process that they're going through right now in terms of just pre-trial hearings, and it seems like they're at least making an effort, I guess, to make sure that everything is above board, I suppose. Tyler Robinson still has constitutional rights, and so there's clearly an effort being made to respect that, which is annoying sometimes, but hey.
But that's what our justice or legal
Right.
system is all about. And so I wanted to really quick put this question out there. In your personal opinions, I'll go to you first, Red Beer Riot. Do you think Tyler Robinson is guilty of assassinating Charlie Kirk?
100%.
Okay. Do you think he acted alone?
100%.
Fair enough. Sergeant Grumpy Pants, same two
I'll
questions
elaborate
to you,
in
sir.
a bit, but
Yes.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Sergeant Grumpy Pants, same two questions to you, sir.
The evidence is staggeringly overwhelming. So, but because I do believe in the rule of law, I believe everybody is innocent until proven guilty.
Sure.
And they've had their fair day in court. So that will be my official stance on that question. Do I believe personally? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I have to, all the evidence has to be presented. He has to go through the trial, all that stuff, in order to, be found guilty by a jury of his peers.
That's the safe answer. Sure.
If I were a juror, I might give that answer. As a common, spectator layman, I get to,
have an opinion on the matter.
Have an opinion and, be a jerk about it.
Well, someone out there who doesn't think that Tyler Robinson is guilty or necessarily acted alone has been Candace Owens. Are you gentlemen familiar with who Candace Owens is?
Unfortunately.
Yes. So look, I mean, this whole thing, unfortunately, since it started, has just been, in my personal opinion, the absolute spiral and downfall of Candace Owens. And I'm not sure who she's pandering to now, what group of people outside of conspiracy theorists she's pandering to now. She was, for a while, I think, self-proclaimed she used to be a liberal way back in the days, and then made her transition over into the conservative movement and actually became a rather prominent voice within the conservative movement. She was a part of the Daily Wire for a short period of time, and had some very, very popular notoriety on social media for going viral for her clips and things. She's, can speak very eloquently and seems very.
Look, sometimes it's kind of funny, right? Like
Sure.
calling Brigitte Macron a man and doing the giant deep dive investigation into it. Okay, funny. It's kind of funny.
And to her credit, I think she did a good job too. And this was back when she was with the Daily Wired, so maybe some of this she was being filtered a little bit, but I thought she did a fairly good job with the George Floyd documentary she did as well.
She's not a dumb person.
She's not.
Fair.
And that's the point. She's not a dumb person. So then what is Candace Owens, in your opinion, Sergeant Grumpy Pants?
She's very, very well educated. She was one person that at one point in time, if they ever said she was going to possibly run for president, I'd say, yes, she would have gotten my vote at one point in time. But I don't know what's going on now with her. Like, why this weird shift all of a sudden? It's really kind of hard to nail down a person in this day and age. It's just, I don't know, man. It's mind-boggling how you can transition so quickly from one stance on a subject or a topic to something else.
Redbeard, who is Candace Owens now?
There seemed to be a little bit of bad blood coming out of, or in the transition when she came out of Daily Wire.
Sure.
Right. So that may or may not play some part of it. I think at the end of the day, who Candace Owens is she is someone who has learned a formula, a technique for making millions of dollars on the internets, right? And that's what she's doing. It's rage bait, it's clickbait, conspiracy theories, and look, there's a big audience for that. And it's not as if that is unwarranted, right? We've seen a lot of stuff that has, filtered down over the last 10 or 15 years where you go, I knew it. You know what I mean? Like, so we were all right, 8 years ago or whatever it is, right? Something comes out and just like, yeah, okay, we all knew that. And so when it comes to these conspiracy theories, the waters get muddy, and she is very good at using that ambiguity. There's your word for the day.
It's a good one.
To profit off of that, and that is, I'm going to say that's sick. If she ever really was, because she has said, which who knows, maybe it's all just an act. She has said publicly in the past that she was friends with Charlie Kirk.
Right.
And
yeah,
correct.
I think if that is true and they, were on good terms, then what she's doing is frankly disgusting.
Yeah.
But, who knows? You get a bunch of creators who are all sort of in the same media ecosystem, and they all know each other sort of by default. And are they friends? I don't know. Would you have one of them watch your kids? Maybe, maybe not. And my suspicion is that she was more likely, one of those fair weather friends. Let's say a friend of convenience or of advantage, right? Charlie Kirk was not some nobody, right? When you're a somebody, when you have influence, when you have some clout in the world, your friends, oftentimes that list is, you count it on one hand, the people who are truly your friends. I don't think Candace Owens was ever on that list. And now she makes her money.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that about the money. I'm gonna play a clip here in just a moment, but before I get into that, my opinion on Candace Owens is that all of these conspiracy theories, and we talked kind of briefly about this, yesterday when we were just having our chat, and it's where we have these major events take place, and then there's either a scarcity of information or there's a vacuum of information there, and that creates space for all of these conspiracy theories to grow. And so what I've seen Candace Owens become over the last I don't know, almost a year now, is really just kind of a grifter, like what you said. She's following the money, right? She's
She's just
reading the tea
asking
leaves.
questions, bro. She's just asking questions.
Yeah, and that's the thing that drives me crazy. So I have two theories on Candace Owens. I think the money theory is one. You know, she's doing what she's doing right now and saying what she's saying about Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk, because she's chasing the money. And the other piece to that is, to me personally, this almost comes across as if like this is a scorn woman, somebody
She's getting vengeance.
Yeah, somebody who secretly may have had, and this is a conspiracy theory of my own, maybe secretly had harbored feelings for Charlie Kirk, when she was working alongside of him. And yeah, exactly. And she's not happy with the fact that Erica was the one that ended up with Charlie. And so she's going about this in a very vindictive way. Like I've dated women like this, so I see a lot of similarities.
Some of that may play into it, but the allure of the millions is one that is difficult. It's hard to say no to that. If you know a way to make millions of dollars, are you going to stand on principle and say no?
I mean, a good human being would, but let's actually take a look at the video. So, since this event, I believe Charlie Kirk was unfortunately assassinated back on September 10th, 2025. I think that's the date. And since then, there's been video after video after video of Candace Owens talking about the investigation that she's doing and how close she's getting.
She's so
close to getting the answers that we all want around who the real assassins were, who was involved, why Charlie Kirk was actually assassinated. And I'm going to play that clip for you right now. And then it talks a little bit about some money there at the end.
I think we're close. We are definitively getting closer. We're getting close. We're getting close. Very close. We're inching ever closer.
I love the money.
I believe extremely close to solving this thing. I've got a feeling about that. We're getting closer to something, and that something is pretty big. I just sense that we're getting close. I sense that we are getting very close, and
we're not getting close, are they?
Getting closer. We're getting very close to something. We're getting closer because we are getting close. We are definitely getting closer. Very close. We are very close. We are close. We are dangerously close to something. We are dead close to something. And I think every day we are inching closer to who killed Charlie Kirk. We're getting close. We're inching ever closer. We are inching closer, a little closer to solving the Charlie Kirk murder. And I'm getting very close. And we are getting very close. But I'm getting closer. I'm getting real close.
I'm feeling very close.
Candace, you are close. We are close. And we're getting closer.
Kirk died 6 months ago. In that time, she's produced 79 episodes.
Now, keep in mind, he said at the time, this was 6 months ago. So this is she's had plenty of other, we're getting very close since then.
Over 184 days. And in that amount of time, Candace Owens has made $59 million. Candace Owens.
Jesus.
There it is, gentlemen.
$59
million in 6 months, just putting all these conspiracy theories out there and taking advantage of a man's death to profit off of it.
At this point, everyone was involved.
Yes, everyone was involved.
Everybody
well,
did.
And
I had shit to do with this, man. I had jack shit to do with this. I was at home.
Everybody did it.
And that's funny because the stories get even wilder. I thought I would go ahead and play this clip for everyone.
Before you play that, I just want to point out the psychological manipulation that she is doing to you or doing to her audience in continuously saying we're getting close. we all lived through the extended saga of the Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Yes.
right?
Yay.
And we all spent 15 years, 20 years going to every single one of those next movie. And what did they do at
37.
the end of every single one of those movies? Oh, there was that little
Post-credit.
teaser, that little
Yeah.
just, oh, look at what you're going to get next time. Look at what you're going to get next time. It makes you excited for the next one. It tickles that part of your brain that's like, oh my gosh, what are they going to do? And that is exactly exactly what she's doing there. She says, oh, we're close. And you lean in and and you never get there. It just doesn't happen.
No,
But they're
you
so
can't
close.
get there, because if you get there, then the gravy train stops.
Right.
The money train stops. You got to get off. So we can't have that. But she's been known to say some truly wild things. I'm going to go ahead and play a clip now of one of those crazy conspiracy theories, or not so much a conspiracy theory, but just it was a wild thing that she said.
Like I just said, had a vivid dream this weekend, and Charlie came to me and he told me that he was betrayed. And so for me, you don't have to believe that, but I do believe that. And it was the immediate sense I got, actually. And I don't know who exactly it is that betrayed him, but I also felt in the dream that it is soon going to be revealed, that it's actually inevitable that it is going to be revealed, that there is nothing and no one that is going to stop the truth from coming out, and it is going to have international consequences. Take that to the bank. Quote me on that.
We did.
Women tend to have a strong.
Has anybody ever dated a girl who got pissed at you because she had a dream that you cheated on her?
Oh, absolutely. My fiance. I kid you not.
How dare you, sir? How dare
I know.
you?
I'm like, do you understand what you're saying to me right now?
I can't believe you do that to me.
In
I
a
can't
dream.
believe you do that to me.
But this is what I like, the things that she said. She's even been known to say, there was a comment she made where it said, she said, Erica was definitely Charlie's handler and she knew about the assassination beforehand. That's a direct quote from Candace Owens. This
Like a
woman
roof.
is batshit crazy.
By the way, Scott the Robot agrees with you. Thinks that she was in love with him.
Absolutely. I've seen scorn women before. I've seen women who thought they should have been the one and they weren't, and they are vindictive. They, whatever it takes to get one over on the person that they feel they should have been in that place. Sure. They'll do whatever it takes. Sergeant Grumpy Pants, what are your thoughts around some of the batshit crazy things Candace Owens has said?
Batshit crazy is an understatement, but yeah, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, right? Redbeard hit the nail on the head with, she had a dream and you cheated on her and woke up and was pissed off at you and you're sleeping right next to her. It was a dream, right? It was all in her imagination. Right. But, I guess women are kind of prone to exaggerating things in their own minds and blowing it out of proportion.
It's another psychological manipulation.
Yeah.
And that's one that's a message that in particular women, they hear that and they go, oh
yeah, but women's intuition,
Yeah.
I mean, come on, they got to know. So it must be right. It's that gut feeling. You have to go with it. Right.
Like I said, she's smart. She knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing.
$50 million in 6 months. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a lot of bread in 6 months.
But I agree with Redbeard Riot in the fact that, it's despicable making that much money off of someone who was a supposed friend and their death.
No, I don't think it's true. I don't think they were ever friends. They knew each other for sure.
Oh, supposedly. That's why I said
friends.
supposed friends.
Yeah. I was actually getting into it with somebody on X, formerly Twitter.
People were arguing on X.
What?
There was a news post and somebody had posted on there that the evidence was overwhelming, and I said, yep, evidence was overwhelming. Candace Owens is batshit crazy. I think it was on a post of Candace Owens And somebody got on and was like, no, how can you, what is overwhelmingly, how are you overwhelmingly sure? And I just said, the evidence. The evidence tells me that Tyler Robinson was the lone gunman. Tyler Robinson was guilty. Why? The evidence. When somebody, and again, this kid must have been one of the dumbest criminals of all time. Like, to go in there and send text messages that you're telling them, yes, I was the shooter. Yes, I left my gun over here. I've got to go back and get my gun. I'm sorry. I didn't want to drag you into this. All of these things, like, it just blows my mind how stupid some criminals can be.
Here's a young man with no guidance.
Well, and actually, that's not true. That's not true. I'll go right back to you in just a second here, Redbeard. Because he actually came from a fairly conservative home, and it was his father who actually turned him in. So I don't think it was guidance. I think there are just, and this is the unfortunate thing, right? There are just times where no matter how much you love your children, no matter what you do to protect them, no matter what guidance you give them, sometimes the other side, sometimes the devil just gets its hooks in you.
That's valid.
And there's nothing you can do. And I think that's exactly what happened with Tyler Robinson. I think he got radicalized by far left ideology. And I think the devil got its hooks in him, and he saw Charlie Kirk as somebody who was a imminent threat to him, the people he cared about, and that ideology, as most far left folks do. I'll turn it back over to you, Redbeard.
Well, and I also assume that he has, maybe I'm going too far. I kind of assume that he's maybe not all there, right? Like, you have a screw loose to go and assassinate an absolute stranger. You have a screw loose. I'm sorry. Okay. What I was getting ready to say a little bit earlier had to do a little bit with, the conspiracy theories and some of the stuff that Candace is talking about. And I'm gonna debunk all of that in 1 second. Right? You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm perfectly happy to listen to a conspiracy theory. Like I said before, some of those are fun.
Some of those are true.
However, until Tyler Robinson's father comes out into the media and says anything along the lines of, my son didn't do this, no conspiracy theory is able to penetrate into my ears, right? If his father, the one who drove him back up to the police station and turned him in, if his father believes that he did it, I don't know, take it to the bank. That's good enough for me.
Well, Sergeant Grumpy Pants, clearly his father has been paid off and is an Israeli PSYOP agent. So
we better check into his bank account.
That can't
I wonder
be
if he's
true.
got $56 million in his bank account now.
Who knows?
What are your thoughts on that, Sergeant Grumpy Pants?
It's I don't really have too many thoughts on this. I mean, if he's, like I said, if he is guilty in a court of law, tried by a jury of his peers, then he's guilty. And his own dad turned him in. Yes. The evidence is overwhelming. Yes. But what do they always say in court? The defense lawyer would say speculation. You have to be able to prove it beyond a shadow of a doubt. The evidence is, like I said, it's staggeringly overwhelming, but everyone deserves their fair time in court, so to speak. And innocent until proven guilty.
I gotta be honest. Go ahead, Redbeard.
I'm not even making the point from evidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
The evidence is all there. My only point there is that if his father, who is probably the one who knows him best in the entire world, is the one who says he did it. He said he did it, and I believe him. Come on.
What else?
Whoa.
Does
It
he
must
know
have
him the
been.
best,
It
though?
must have been Ben Shapiro.
Does he know him the best, though? I mean, did he know his son was dating a furry trans something? Does he know his son that well?
Does anybody know your kid better than you?
I don't know. That's a great question. Really is.
I don't know. I have to imagine that maybe some of the details his father may not have been fully aware of. I don't think his father was completely unaware of the lifestyle that his son was involved in. There's always going to be signs, that will indicate something's not right, and so I agree with you, Redbeard. I think that, it's hard for any other conspiracy theory to stand up when the one person, closest to him, raised him, doesn't come out and say, like, hey, my son's innocent. Because there's a good chance that Tyler Robinson is looking at the death penalty here if the state gets its way. So to not interject as a father and do anything to save your son,
That's the
for
kind of
me,
principle.
speaks volumes.
That's the kind of principle that it's not going to earn you $56 million.
That's right. That's right. Well, it'll be interesting to see how the rest of this all plays out. We'll provide an update later once we start getting into the trial. Like I said, on July 9th, I believe, Tyler Robinson actually entered a plea of not guilty. So we'll see how all of that turns out. But if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. You have found Smoke Signals and Side Quests. We're live over on YouTube and Twitch. We go live every Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave us a comment. And if there's something you'd like to see in a future episode, please leave it down below. We read and respond to every comment. If you want just the audio version, you don't want to check us out, these beautiful faces on YouTube, then you can go over to Spotify or Amazon Music. That gets posted the following day on Sunday. So that'll be ready for you on your long commute in on work for the week. Gentlemen, let's get into our next segment that we love to call
What do we got?
Allegedly Dumb.
Oh, my.
Start your grumpy hands. The floor is yours, sir.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. 4th of July just happened, and there was something that happened in California, kind of rather big news anyways, and it's kind of what I'm going to be touching on in my segment here, is just kind of this crazy drive of, online trends and things that are happening and how it's affecting the youth, so to speak. I got a clip there. The Utes, the two Utes. If you could play the first clip for me, I'd appreciate that.
Sure.
Get into a little bit of here. It's kind of a precursor.
We have new video out of Newport showing the moment mounted police officers clashed with crowds during July 4th celebrations. Things quickly spiraled out of control. More than 350 officers moved in to clear the area and restore order to Balboa Peninsula. They say the crowd engaged.
For those of you who are just listening, there is hundreds of people on the beach that are being chased off.
Super unfortunate,
By horses.
Kids are out here
Yes.
mucking around, drinking, doing what they do. There's no place for that.
We live in one of the most beautiful places in the world, so to have people that don't live here, don't care about this place, come and trash it for fun it's pretty disheartening.
One officer was hit by a mortar, and police say they arrested
A
more
mortar.
Boy, that person said a mouthful.
They sure did.
To come somewhere, I would hold on one second. To come somewhere that you don't live and to trash it and to talk bad about it, man. That lady didn't look like a Republican, but she sure spoke like one.
Yeah, well, I mean, what we're seeing here is we're watching this familiar cycle play out in Newport Beach, whereas this kind of this youth-driven trend that spreads really fast online, but then spills into real life as disruption. We got crowds gathering for clout, reckless stunts, forms of harassment and vandalism, and this kind of like everybody's doing it momentum that really makes bad decisions feel normal, so to speak. And with online stuff, whether that the specific hashtag changes from this week or not, there seems to be a pattern that's the same. This attention becomes a form of currency, and the trouble becomes kind of like a shortcut to being seen. And they like, what's really happening here? There's a pattern that is beneath this kind of overall trend, so to speak, right? So when we're looking at like online validation, how it's being treated kind of like identity, the views, the likes, and the reposts, where they kind of become like this weird kind of scoreboard for worth. I mean, what's your guys' take on that? Do you think that there's a lot of this? I wouldn't say I mean, maybe it is a riot. I mean, there was 350 Utes out there, so to speak, causing trouble. Do you think that has anything to do with this online thing? What do you guys think?
I think I mean, sure, there's probably a combination of that. You're always going to have the kids out there with their cell phones up trying to capture the next viral moment, right? And that certainly seemed to be a viral moment. I also think you just have kids out there, with a lack of direction and, parents that very clearly are not involved enough, because if I ever found one of my kids out there raising that kind of hell,
Yeah.
they're going to be coming home to a world of hurt when I find out about it.
Redbeard, what's your take?
Well, I mean, it's not exactly a new concept to have young kids, causing trouble, right?
Sure. Right.
Just as a form of entertainment, just as a form of excitement, and obviously all the people who are there and they're like, hey, this is our community, are going to be irritated by that, right?
Right.
I have never participated in something to that extent, but when we were younger, it was, there was a little bit of raising hell that happened.
Sure.
And
Sure.
and that's just sort of a part of being young, right?
But was it ever borderline?
Well, and I
breaking
think
the law to this level?
I think when you combine it
Yeah.
with something like social media, and you get all these people who don't seem to have the common sense not to film their own crimes.
Self-incriminating.
You get that sort of thing, right? I was thinking about this a little bit, over the past week, and I don't know. Have you guys ever seen any of the footage from? I think it was like Woodstock '99.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Where it just turned into it was just chaos. Like it burned down. People were like rioting. It went tits up.
Yeah. 30
It
years
was
later.
actually
it was worse.
during the song when Limp Bizkit was on stage.
Was it
called Break Stuff?
Good old Fred Durst.
And
Yeah,
there was a conspiracy theory around that too.
Oh, sure. But again, that's sort of the energy of young people at times, and
Sure.
in particular, young people who, I'm sure you've all heard the saying, "Idle hands make for the devil's playground." Right?
Sure do.
These young kids, they probably don't have a full-time job. They probably, don't have other things, better things to be doing, and so it's sort of a listless existence where, let's go have fun. And what that means is, ooh, I'm going to go, I like to go to amusement parks, right? I like to go ride roller coasters and get that little adrenaline shot, right?
Nice.
But I also remember being that age, and you would get a little bit of an adrenaline spike when you were, ooh, I just, I threw a rock at a cop or whatever, whatever it is. And then I ran away, right? I have never allegedly done that. But it's a form of entertainment,
Right.
And we, for whatever reason, have not done a great job of steering or directing that crowd, those young people, into productive endeavors.
Right. Well, I mean, our parents used to say to us, and well, they said to me, I don't know if they said to you, you guys might be able to attest to this. If your friends jumped off a bridge, would you do it? You guys ever hear that? Yeah,
Probably.
right? Well, the group energy definitely lowers personal accountability, especially in a crowd. The
need
individual
context.
conscience gets quieter. You know, boredom plus the equal access, free time, money, cars, phones. These can turn into a recipe for impulsive choices and a lack of initiation into manhood, where young men have never been clearly taught what manhood requires, but only what it can take, right? And that kind of leads me to my next point is, what does it like definitively take to redirect young men into men of principle? I believe that there has to be a clear definition of manhood. Now, I'm going to ask you, gentlemen, this question. Each of you, Scar Titan, we'll start with you. What is your definition of manhood?
That gives me a minute to think about it.
Yeah. Well, then I'm sure whatever you come up with will sound much more eloquent.
It'll be
than-
so good.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of things that define what manhood is. I think
Sure.
being a good son, being a productive person in society, being a good
Right.
father, being a good husband or fiance or boyfriend, all qualify for that. I think that it's being a man. It's like what you said. It's being a man of principle, being a man of your word. If you say you're going to do something, then you
Right.
do it. You follow
Sure.
through on it.
Right.
Because for most men, you're only as good as your word. And so if you don't have that and you lie constantly, you fall back on that, you're out there running the streets, you're doing stupid things, you're a risk. You're a dangerous man at that point,
Right.
and not for the right reasons, right? So
Yeah.
that's what I would say initially. If I had a little bit more time to kind of
Formulate an answer. I get it. But that's
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
good.
Right
That's
up
pretty
a
good off the
report.
cuff. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty good off the cuff, actually. Redbeard, what's your take on that?
I didn't come up with anything good.
No, you're
so,
good.
no, listen. When I think about
Remember, this is a very low stakes situation.
when I think about the kind of man that I would want to be described as,
Sure.
right? Because I guess I can't really say, write a prescription for what everybody should be or whatever the case may be, right?
Sure.
If I were to talk about the way I would want to be described by another person, some words that I would want to hear would be accountability,
Right.
integrity, honor, honesty. I wish I had it. I'd have to go and look it up. We'll go to a deep pull from the past when I was in the Boy Scouts,
Sure.
right? And they've got this whole list of, the Boy Scout motto or the Boy Scout, I forget exactly what it is, but it's
Right.
it's lists out honest, courteous, kind, a lot of these kind of things that you don't really think about it when you're that age.
Of course.
And
Who
but
does?
you're sort of you sort of get these things that get drilled into your brain. But for sure, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that are going to tell you that a man is somebody who can fight and beat up everybody.
Sure. And the young, dumb, and full of cum type of thing. I get it.
And can control his woman. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And that's a masculine man.
Right. I mean, but we all had really active fathers in our lives that were really good role models for us that kind of helped pave the way for us to kind of enter this kind of being initiated into manhood, so to speak. They were really good shining examples for us to be able to go, that's something I want to emulate. That's something I aspire to be like, right? It's very similar.
Sure.
Not everybody has that. But like you made a point, like the Boy Scouts, that was something that gave you an additional, probably what you already had on top of whatever it was your father was already teaching you anyways. And that kind of brings me to my point of like the definition of manhood. I had a really good example from my father. And it was at this point where when I joined the military and I learned the core values of the Air Force, right? It was 3, very, very simple: integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do, right? You strive to be better. And I kind of wanted to touch base on what I thought manhood, the definition of manhood is like manhood is not dominance. It's basically responsibility. Manhood is not bravado, right? Going around, I can control my woman. I'm a man. I can fight and do all these things. That's fake. That's performative, right? It's self-control. And manhood is not an image. It's integrity when nobody is watching, basically.
Right.
And my dad always had said, if you find a wallet on the street and it's full of money, you should turn it in, especially if it's in front of a business. You would take it inside and give it to the customer service, because you don't take the money out and say, oh, I found this wallet. It was completely empty, right? That money that's in there could very well be someone's car payment, house payment, their livelihood, a medical bill for, a loved one. You kind of pay it forward with good chi, so to speak, and do the right thing, specifically when nobody's looking. That's real good integrity and accountability for yourself there. And to the Boy Scouts or the military, it's needing this kind of, with this youth, this consistent form of mentorship, and I believe a proximity to good men. And people would say, well, what's your definition of like what good men would be? I mean, look around. We have coaches, tradesmen, possibly faith leaders, veterans, business owners, or just in general, uncles, men who model restraint and service. And to be around for the long haul, basically. So it's not just like you give one speech on, what you did bad and how you fix it, but, kind of making a weekly presence, right? This accountability plus encouragement, real consequences paired with basically real pathways, so to speak. Do you either you have any thoughts on that, or am I kind of hitting the nail on the head when it comes to things that you would either agree with or not?
Yeah.
No, totally disagree. You're way off base.
I mean, and we're talking about consequences. I'm talking about they should be, certain and fair, right? Really clearly outlined so people know these healthy boundaries, so to speak. And pathways should be basically visible, right? Community service that builds skills and possibly restorative justice, job placement and apprenticeships, and a rhythm of discipline, rest, and purpose, right? I believe young men. Well, go ahead.
At a baseline level,
yeah,
there has to be a man present at all.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of kids in this country, a lot of kids just in general, grow up without a father, and that is in some cases your father, he's a terrible guy. Maybe it's better that he wasn't around, but I think in most cases, growing up without your father puts you at a handicap.
Sure. Growing up with an abusive father, I will once again point to my own father, my own family line. My grandfather, who died before I was born, I never met him, but from what my father said, he was an abusive alcoholic. And my father had a very definitive choice at that point in time. Either say, well, this is the way I grew up, so I'm going to continue to pass this down to the next generation, my brother and myself, or I'm going to make myself better. And I don't want to be that. I want to raise and elevate myself to a different status. I think it's very, very important, specifically when we're talking about generational trauma that gets passed down from grandparents to your parents, and the parents to you. And then I have a kid. I have kids.
Well, there has to be intentionality about it, doesn't there?
Right. Yeah, it absolutely does. You have to be very conscientiously thinking about your next move, what you're going to do. You have to be intentional about it. There is no way you can accidentally do this, right?
Just drift through it.
Right. You can't just drift through it, right? I believe that definitively what's wrong with the youth is these young men, they need structure that basically teaches regulation, right? You need proper amount of sleep, training, work, service, and recovery. And when people say, oh, that you need to get rest, it's not quitting, right? When you rest, you got to take those times to be down. That's more from what I believe is realignment. So basically, you can choose wisely, under pressure, so to speak. You're not just kind of emotionally going from your day to day. You have to be, like you said, very intentional about what it is you're planning on doing. And I also believe that community standards that are also spoken out loud, right? That's a very important thing. I believe the community has to get involved with, whether it's families, schools, or civic leaders. They kind of got to say that quiet part very out loud and clearly. Like
Well,
we
I think you
expect
used to see more of that
Sure.
in the past, with a higher level of regular church attendance,
Yeah.
because that sort of provided somewhat of a framework or a structure to build that sort of community accountability.
Right.
I mean, whether
Yeah.
you agree with it or not, but
No, I do agree with it. I mean, the community basically has to say, we basically expect you to be honorable, law abiding, and protect your community, not be destructive. Which is funny because that is something that we see a lot of in this day and age, particularly with examples of, well, the politician I voted for didn't get an office, so I'm going to shit where I eat and I'm going to go ahead and start dumpster fires at the local area. A lot of these kids just don't really seem to care. They don't let the chips fall where they may. And it didn't have to be, I mean, I use that as a broad example.
Because there's
But-
no real world impact to these kids. And that's
Right.
part of the problem, is that when you're committing a crime, if you're doing it on the right side of the aisle,
Yeah.
politically,
Sure.
then you've got the media, you've got people in the entertainment industry, you've got politicians all telling you, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. Keep going, keep going. You're doing the right
Right.
thing, right? And so
when you say you're on the right side politically, what
I
you're
mean the
saying
left
is you're on the
side.
correct side
Right.
politically, that the media.
Correct.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like you're not calling to violence because the person that you voted for, or let's say you're following a trial and the person you wanted to be presumed innocent, the Carmelo Anthony thing, right? People got all up in arms because they were like, well, he was defending himself. And then I don't know if anything came of it, riots or destructive things, but we've seen it in the past. With what's the name of that one kid with he took the gun and he
Talking
shot
about
those
Michael
guys.
Brown.
No. White kid took an M4 or an AR-15, shot and
I know
killed
who
like
you're
200
talking
people.
about.
What the heck is his name? It is escaping me.
Kyle
right now.
Rittenhouse.
Yes, Kyle Rittenhouse. That was a big thing that was, I mean, devastating for a lot, but other people were like, no, he was justified, right? So getting this kind of, like, I guess, call to action, and that's got to come from parents and leaders and the city, basically, to hold the accountability for these kids that are out there just running amok, and to create kind of men of principle. This pipeline, there has to be, I believe, mentorship and service and skill building with basically measurable milestones, and to partner with local businesses to say for paid internships and summer work, because you had made the comment earlier, idle hands, right? These kids are bored. What are they doing with their time? We're on summer vacation and we really aren't doing anything. And nobody's taking them under their wing to say,
Let's tear it
hey,
up.
right, what are you interested? You interested in automotive? You interested in carpentry? You interested in electrical? Like trade schools, right? College might not be for everybody, but you can make a damn good living being an underwater welder, and whether you're contracted by the United States military for, whatever. The point is there has to be something there to kind of mitigate that kind of idle.
There needs to be
hand type of
structure.
thing.
There needs to be structure.
Yeah. And, this purpose has to beat the boredom and make public recognition louder than, I guess, public chaos, where we celebrate young men who serve and lead and show restraint.
And that's another part of our culture, which is
Sure.
we're going to highlight something like what happened at Newport Beach, right?
Right.
There very likely is a lot of other situations that are totally unreported of exactly what you're talking
yeah.
about. the guy
Right.
who's volunteer coaching, or the
Right.
the people down at the community center or whatever it is. And we don't talk about that enough, because
Doesn't sell
that
tickets to the
doesn't, right.
dance.
It
Right. It
doesn't,
doesn't.
if it bleeds, it leads, right?
Right.
The thing that gets people up in arms, the thing that gets people upset, is the one that goes viral, is the one that generates the revenue. And so
Sure.
these other instances of people doing it right,
Hmm.
you really don't hear about unless you're sort of plugged into that network.
Sure. And you get this kid that gets a summer job, and he comes from an impoverished area, and he's working to save because he wants to buy a car or whatever the case may be, but he's
Sure.
doing it the right way. And then all of his peers are like, "You're a chump. You're going to work." Oh, and then you see these
Oh,
kids fall
look,
into gang
if
life.
if you know that your kid doesn't have, let's say that you really don't have much of an ability to send your kid to like a higher education.
Right.
Oh, as soon as you're in high school, bud, you're learning mechanics, you're learning electrical, you're learning
Right.
welding. Like that's what you're going to spend your summer vacation doing. You're learning
Yeah.
construction, because if you don't have that avenue
Right.
to, climb the corporate ladder or whatever, no, we're going to build a skill,
Yeah.
and you're going to be able to sustain and support yourself when it comes time. Every kid leaves
Sure.
the nest eventually,
Yeah.
hopefully. And that's prime time. Summertime is prime time. I
Sure.
mean, how many? I did some time in summer school,
Sure.
and I wouldn't say that necessarily, gave me all the skills that I needed to succeed in life, but
Yeah.
I learned a little bit about construction here and there. I learned a
Right.
little bit about, engineering here and there, and I
Did it
gained
hurt you?
skills.
Did it hurt you?
In the moment, I was very upset.
You're like, I feel less cool because I can't go to the beach
I can't,
and
I
cause
can't
trouble.
go out and play with my
Right.
friends.
Well, I mean,
No, but it was good for me. And whether or not I, necessarily enjoyed it, or whether or not, I liked it at the moment, it was good for me. And that's what parents do, right? Your
right.
parent gets you into something, or your parent takes you to get your booster shot because it's good for you. It
Sure.
hurts, but it's good
Right.
for you. And that's what parents are supposed to be there to do. Parents are not supposed to be your best friend when you're
Ah,
growing up and you don't know crap. You're learning everything. It's your
right.
parents are the ones who have to instruct you, have to guide you, even if
Right.
sometimes it hurts. Sometimes your parents have to let you touch the stove
Yep.
because they've already told you that it's hot, but you are not going to know. You're not going to learn until
Right.
you actually do it.
That's 100% correct. And I agree with everything you said. And to give my dad another shout out, he once told me when I first left the house under not so good circumstances, he did say that, every kid that leaves the nest, right? Every parent hopes their little chick will fly or fall. He's like, I really
Right.
hope you fly. I really do. And to another point, I had once said to my oldest daughter, I said, listen, I'm not your friend. I will never be your friend. We can be friendly, but we're not going to sit there and talk shop about who said what, and we're not going to curl each other's hair, even though she has curled mine. But you know what I mean?
Gay.
Like we're not going to be at that level of friendship. Like I'm your dad. Right? I have a role here, and that
Right.
all falls part of like a coordinating prevention with schools and police and community organizations and parents also sharing early warning signs and interventions. Right? Now we don't correct this, I believe, this moment by shaming a generation, but I believe we can correct it by basically calling them higher and then walking there with them. Now, the internet will always offer, in my opinion, trends that reward disruption, so to
Of
speak.
course.
And I believe it is our job to basically offer something stronger, right? A vision of manhood rooted in morals and good character and live a lawful living, so to speak, where strength is basically measured not by what you can get away with, but what you choose kind of to protect. Does that make any sense?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad. And uh yeah, I believe Cigar Titan had said something earlier as well during this whole run-on diatribe I have going on here. It is this gentle parenting, right? It doesn't work. I believe in my heart of hearts, gentle parenting doesn't work. And there's a clip 2, if you could play that for me as well, because this is kind of touching base on the Newport issue. But this is something that really ties into this parenting issue where we hold parents more accountable for their little cretins causing havoc and chaos.
Now that we know that this was like a teen takeover, what happened in Newport yesterday, all I have to say is this is what a generation of gentle parenting has resulted in. And if your child was partaking in the madness yesterday, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Truer words, man. Like I wholeheartedly
Enough
agree with
said.
that. Like, yeah, enough said, right? It falls into that. And now there is a clip 3 I would like you to play as well. Now, I don't condone what is happening here, but it is still pretty funny, especially when you're dealing with kids who are a little too big for their britches, so to speak. So if you could play clip 3 and yeah, just sit back and enjoy. Look at the little kid in the blue and white striped jersey, the littlest one there. Bye.
Bro went for a ride.
Now, my
No
dad
man went
always
for a
said,
ride.
Does it get frequent flyer miles for that?
I love that one so much. My dad used to always say, listen, if you can't run with the big dogs, stay on the porch, right? The little kid was too big for his britches in that one. And then it gets into parenting, right? And there's
also
a book.
don't do that.
And
Yeah.
don't do that. Yeah. There's a book called Iron John written by Robert Bly, I believe it is. And this is kind of getting into like single mothers, father figures, and making men of question. Basically, the question isn't whether single mothers love their sons enough. I believe they do. They do love their the sons enough. But I believe the deeper question is, as Robert Bly kind of explores in the book Iron John, is whether a boy has access to this kind of initiation that helps him cross the threshold into a mature manhood. That is strength with restraint, competence with humility, and honor that basically holds under pressure, right? And I believe Bly's point is not women can't raise boys, but I believe his point is that boys often need men, plural, like a lot, in their world to kind of help model masculine maturity and to guide a process that modern culture frequently neglects. And I believe also what Iron John strongly suggests is true about becoming a man, right? There's this framework of boyhood that doesn't automatically become manhood. It requires a transition and a shaping process, so to speak. You know, having young men around competent adult men. And this is where we as men hold ourselves to a higher standard, right? We cannot be emotionally unregulated, because then we run into problems where the influence, again, to this Tyler Robinson guy. Yes, he had a strong father, but what were the other influences that he had around? Was he a college student? Did he get inundated and indoctrinated with this liberal mindset that anybody that disagrees with you is wrong and dead wrong and must be stopped at all costs? What's your take on that, gentlemen?
Yes. Are we talking about Tyler Robinson specifically?
Or anybody that has gone astray, like they've really wandered off the beaten path, so to speak, even though they've had good fathers or uncles, but there are other influences out there that have basically taken them away from being able to be around strong, competent men to help guide them on the path from boyhood to manhood.
Well, look, nothing is certain, right?
Sure.
You can do everything right as a parent and you know, raise your kids with intention and structure and do all of these things. At the end of the day, they're autonomous individuals and they are going to make their own choices,
Right.
and they are going to go their own way. And
Sure.
you know, so there's no secret formula for, you know, keeping your kids out of a Newport Beach riot, but
Right.
but you do the best that you can,
Yeah.
and then you let them out into the world.
Yeah, and a boy often needs contact with this older man, mentor or guide, basically to learn, right?
Sure.
And
Didn't you know everything though by the time you were 18?
Oh, of course. I mean, at least I thought I did. I thought I had this whole thing called life down pat, and I was never wrong. I never made mistakes, and it was everybody else's fault but mine.
Of course.
My teachers only called me into PTA meetings with my parents because they had a problem with me. It wasn't anything I was doing ever. Cigar Titan made mention earlier that his teachers hated him, right? Were you completely innocent of everything, or was it? Is there some?
Oh no, guilty. Absolutely, just guilty as sin. Okay,
right.
This could be its own podcast.
Sure,
Yeah.
like emotional regulation under stress, and the honorable use of that type of strength, and I believe boundaries, responsibility, and service in modern society often lacks rights to this passage. So boys create this counterfeit version of it. Right? This bravado, so to speak.
Sure.
You get the risk taking for attention. The rebellion, now, excuse me, I just burped. Rebellion now becomes this identity, and it's performative toughness without this inner discipline, right? So this case of single mothers can raise strong men through the Iron John lens, so to speak. A mother can absolutely provide, I think, like love, structure, moral teaching, and discipline, and a home where truth and responsibility and character are expected, basically. And Iron John doesn't deny maternal power. I think, if anything, it highlights a missing ingredient, right? And this is this initiation energy, often delivered through consistent male mentorship and a male community, right?
Sure.
I love the fact that you and I and Cigar Titan, we've known each other for over 30 years, and we have our heads on relatively straight. But this is a form of listen. I have a house full of women. The only ones that pee standing up is my dog. Okay, this is nice for me to be able to get together with my boys.
You need an outlet, sir.
I have an outlet, and this is it. This is my weekly outlet. I look forward to doing this consistently. Where we get together and we just talk and we kind of shoot the breeze and we smoke our cigars and we just talk about things that are either current or things that are just weighing on our mind when it comes to, say, current events, so to speak. So I believe that if, when a single mother can intentionally build a circle of trustworthy men, and that's the key, trustworthy men around her son, she can create the conditions that Bly basically describes in Iron John. Coaches, uncles, pastors, teachers, tradesmen, maybe family, friends even. But men who are steady, not performative, principled, not predatory. And then the case, basically that it takes a man or at least a male initiation to raise a boy into a man. What do you guys feel about that? I mean, do you feel like a single mother can really fully, truly raise a boy to become a man? Or like in Iron John, he basically is this analogy. He has to steal the key from under his mother's pillow. He has to then go and unlock the cage to release his inner wild man.
I was, from the better part of my early years, raised by a single mom for probably until I was about 10 years old.
Sure.
If the question is, can a single mom raise a productive son and lead him into the world and society? Sure. I mean, there's examples of that all over the place, but that doesn't mean that the father's role isn't important. And I don't know the exact statistic, we were talking about it yesterday, but having a father in the home improves a child's potential for success by like 73 or 74%,
right?
Something like that. It's a very, very high number by having a father in the home. And I believe fathers are essential, but that doesn't mean that a single mom can't raise a good child. However, I do think that if a single mom is raising a son, it's important, dare I say, imperative that
Right.
son find a positive male role model outside of the home
Yeah.
in
Right.
order to be successful.
Yeah, surrounding her son with, like they said, competent, non-predatory men, right? Are you always going to hit the mark on the bullseye? No, not all the time, but at least you're trying, right? To get men involved to help your son grow into a man you hopefully want him to become, right? I believe a mother can teach their son how to treat women by the example she sets as the mother as to how she would like to be treated. And he can then go, okay, cool. My mom says I should open the door for her. Start teaching him young. Hold the door open for the lady. Pull her chair out. If you're on a crowded transit system, bus, train, whatever, you offer your seat to the lady, whether she's elderly, she's got a cane because of some sort of accident, she's pregnant. My dad would thump me up the back of the head if I didn't hold the door open. I would open the door for him and my mom and any other woman. He'd say, go get the door. And I'd run up there and grab the door. And if I didn't, I'd get thumped upside the head. He taught me young kind of these, I don't want to say chivalrous type of traits, but that was something that I still carry over into this day. I have one job, and I always tell my fiance every time she gets into the vehicle, let me get your door. I will open the door for you. I will close the door for you. Other grand gestures, I bring her flowers. I try to bring her flowers on any day that ends with a letter Y, rather than just anniversaries and birthdays, because if I can't express my love to her throughout the year, then I'm really not doing a good job. And I believe that she does deserve that, in my opinion. And that is something that I watched my father do with my mom. And he loved her so much before she passed. And I really saw their relationship. And that was something that I wanted to emulate in my adult life, to have a relationship that kind of echoed and mirrored that. And I felt really good. And I'm going to toot my own horn here for a second, so just bear with me. My oldest daughter once said to me about a year or so ago, she was having troubles with a boy and had said, I just want a relationship like yours and mom's. And when she said that, it was literally a throwback to when I said that about my parents. And I was like, oh, I'm nailing it. I feel like I'm doing a good job because I am giving her an idea. Right. I'm giving her this kind of baseline. Like, this is a bare minimum for what men should do.
She has an example to follow.
Right. And does that mean that women get off scot-free and don't have to do anything if they expect a man of tradition, that they shouldn't have to be traditional women? No, they don't get off
That's a
scot-free.
whole other conversation.
That's a whole other conversation. Because right now I want to just focus on these young men, because primarily what was in that crowd, that was young men out there showboating and doing all these things in front of girls and their best buddies. And just, once again, if they all jumped off a bridge, would you do it? And like lemmings and sheep, they just went blindly following along, right? We get into more of like Iron John with the boy's growth and how it accelerates when he encounters a guide who calls him upward, right? Expects better of himself, and tests that builded competence and accountability that forms this integrity. And integrity has to be at the forefront of everything, because if you're not honest, even with yourself, you can't be honest with anybody else, right? That's a problem. Bly also goes on to argue that boys suffer from this father hunger, right? Not just for a dad in the house, but for like male affirmation, right? It's nice to hear a man say, you did a good job, bud, right? Male correction, right? If you make a mistake, you should be able to be held accountable and be like, listen, you done fucked up, kid. But this is how we correct this. This is how we get back. This is how we get the train from being derailed back on track, so to speak. And this male modeling of calm strength, not through this, gorilla, I'm gonna beat my chest and, be performative about it. And, that is, that's like that machismo type of thing that kids often disassociate that, oh, well, that's what a man is, right? I go to the gym, I work out, and I, do all these things that really don't tie into what it means to be a calm strength, right? And then the claim it takes a man is the strongest, basically when it means like a boy needs a visible example of honorable masculinity. I find that very compelling and a pathway into responsibility, not just rules. What it takes to raise men of honor. Um, like again, this rite of passage is intentional, but it's not accidental. It's completely intentional. You're going into it with a forethought, knowing that you are going to be doing something better for yourself that eventually will bleed over into the other aspects of your life. Better relationships with your mom, better relationships with your siblings, if you have a sister or a brother, or just teachers. You something had changed. When I was a kid, yeah, we called cops pigs, but we never, not I never threw a rock at a cop. I never did anything harassing or a borderline vandalizing but then again, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have this online influence back then where we were like, oh, go ahead and post that. It's so funny. You'll get likes and stuff. And that'll give you the validity or the validation that you need in order to be liked, so to speak. And that's not manhood. That's just boys being weird. You know, there's a clear moment of like, you are responsible now with your expectations and support. It would be great if we could go back to the days where we had like a council of men, bring the young man up. And if he performs this, where he stands on this thing for X amount of days. Well, there's this tribe down in, I think it's South America, where these kids put their hands in these gloves that are covered in bullet ants. And if they can stand that bullet ant stinging their hands all over the place without screaming, shirking, or
You're
yelling.
not allowed to cry or yell or say anything.
Nothing. Right. So you know what I'm talking about. You've seen this before too, right? Granted, that's a little really, really, really extreme, right? When it comes to initiation standards, but that's just difference between cultures and how people do things of that nature. So, but it still falls under competence building on some level, I believe. Getting work skills like you were learning about during summer school, like engineering and drafting and all that stuff. Physical discipline, getting kids out from in front of video games and getting them into the gyms or in a pool or on a track and running or doing something. Money stewardship is another really big thing, and then being in service to others. And I remember in high school, in order for us to graduate, we had to complete X amount of hours of community service. Do they even still do that anymore in this day and age? Is that a requirement for kids to even graduate high school?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, this is one of those things that maybe it fell by the wayside so long and hard ago, but truth telling, restitution, humility.
I'm going to use that.
What's that?
So long and hard ago.
So long and hard ago, right?
Yeah.
But respect for authority and law, and then the emotional maturity comes into it, teaching boys to name emotions and manage anger and choose restraint, basically. I guess to kind of like sum this up, can single mothers raise strong, competent, disciplined men of honor? Yes, especially when they are supported and when they intentionally surround their sons with a principled community, basically. And Iron John does go on to suggest boys often need men to help initiate them into manhood. That is also a yes, right? That's a thing that the book touches on. The best answer isn't really a debate, where it shames the mother or excuses the fathers if they're absent. But it is a commitment to build a village, to restore initiation and raise young men who use strength to protect, provide, and basically to serve. I think those are very, very important things. And that's what it touches back to what I learned in the military, the 3: integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Will you fall short? Sure, but you're going to get corrected. And as long as you can take constructive criticism, so long as it is constructive criticism, someone just says, oh, you're a piece of shit. Okay, where do I go from there? I don't have a point B. Tell me how to not be a piece of shit. Maybe that's something that we as men, as a community, can kind of rally around. And I think lefties would really like to jump on this as well, because wasn't it Hillary Clinton that said, it takes a village, right? That's something that I think the left could definitely jump on because, one of their idols, Hillary Clinton, said this. So it's not too far off the beaten path where the left and the right could come together and really kind of make young boys into upstanding men, and not maybe just men, but gentlemen. That's it. That's basically all I got, man.
All right. Well, gentlemen, we're going to move some segments around here in the interest of time, and we're going to jump.
I always go too long. I'm so sorry.
All good. We're going to jump into this week's Retro Hail Riffraff.
So much fun.
What is going on? Well, this one is going to be a little bit out of the blue. We were going to do a segment about some AI topics, and this Retro Hail game actually was meant to follow it. So what you get today is a little game I like to call Guess That Movie. We got AI Antics. And what we're going to be looking at here, gentlemen, is going to be movies that are centered around AI, but we are broadening out this category just a little bit. What we're doing is what we traditionally understand as AI, or maybe our modern understanding of AI. But you can also throw into this category computers with personality. All right?
All right, got it.
You guys ready to get this going?
Let's go.
All right, let's do it. What do we got?
On so I can read.
Yeah, read.
I know. Being able to see.
You're close. Give them to me. Now, don't just shout it out, because
it might not be the one we're thinking of.
Well, no, it's probably exactly the one that you're thinking of. But here's the deal: is I went ahead and decided to start with this one specifically because it is the AI, right? I came across time for you, Sarah. I love you. Ugh. I always have.
Winky face.
And you know what this movie is. Again, when people start talking about, ooh, we're afraid of AI, they are making reference to this movie, right? We got somebody do it.
I'm not going to do it.
No?
You got the best accent.
Okay.
You got to do it.
Oh,
right.
wait. Is Sergeant Grumpy Pants?
I'll be back.
Okay. All right.
There you
I can come over there.
Gentlemen.
Damn it.
That's a lot of eyes. No, I.
We are obviously we're talking about the Terminator. Skynet is the deadly AI, right?
Skynet.
Skynet's gone live.
What?
Skynet.
Yes. Okay, moving on. All right. Here we go. Now, it's going to get a little bit progressively harder, but these first ones are pretty easy. Human beings are a disease, you're a plague, and we are the cure. Anybody recognize that?
I think I do, but I don't want to just shout it out.
All right. Let's see what else we have. There is no spoon.
I got it. I know what it is now. You got it, Mr.
Cigar
Titan?
I don't know. I don't
Cigar
know.
Titan?
The first
give him a
one
clue?
sounds familiar.
Well, I can give him a clue.
Yeah, you give him a clue.
What are you trying to tell me? I can dodge bullets?
Okay, yes, now I know.
Uh-huh. We're obviously talking about
Whatever
the
you want.
Matrix.
That's right.
You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
And this is not one of those movies that is explicitly AI, but we're fighting against the machines, and there's probably some AI going on in there.
Oh,
if I had
100%.
If I had a
100%.
guess.
Whoa.
And this
Whoa.
started the whole manosphere movement, this movie.
Oh, your red
The
pill,
red and pill, blue
Yeah.
pill. Yep.
which to me it's a little retarded, but all right. I mean, the movies are fun, but they're not exactly like high psychology. It's just not. Anyway,
Yeah.
Human beings have dreams. Even dogs have dreams, but not you. You are just a machine.
No, nothing.
This sounds like maybe Homeward Bound.
Yeah.
No? Can a robot write a symphony? Can a robot turn a canvas into a beautiful masterpiece?
Nowadays, yeah.
Yeah, actually.
Well, you know what? It turns out AI can do exactly that.
Yep.
A robot could not commit a murder. No more than a human could walk on water.
iRobot.
In fact, yes, it is. I was doing this whole thing going, last night these guys told me that the only movie that they know with an AI is going to be iRobot. Let's see if they can figure that out.
So has my understanding of the 3 laws. You charge us with your
2004.
safekeeping, yet despite our best efforts, your countries wage wars, you toxify your earth, and pursue ever more imaginative means of self-destruction. You cannot be trusted with your own survival.
You know that one's bad because it's glowing red.
Yes, well, the red is the bad one, and the blue is the good one, right? That's how we know?
Calm. That's how we know.
Anybody seen this movie?
I've seen it, yeah, a couple of times.
It's not bad.
Decent movie.
It's not bad.
Decent movie. I mean, it wasn't going to win any Oscars or
No.
anything like that, but
No.
it was a decent movie for its time, for sure.
Only thing I clearly remember about this is he was really excited to get his Chuck Taylors.
Oh, yes.
That would be the thing you'd remember.
That's the only thing I remember he was excited about.
I had strings, but now I'm free. There are no strings on me.
Uh-oh.
Grease.
Yeah. Oh, winning. I really miss the days when the weirdest thing science ever created was me.
No, it wasn't what I was thinking of. I was thinking of Pinocchio.
Oh, yeah.
There unfortunately is no AI or computers in Pinocchio.
I now know
I
what
beg
this
to
is,
differ,
though.
sir.
Now,
I beg to differ.
Interestingly enough, you will find a lot of references to Pinocchio in movies about AI. You want to protect the world, but you don't want it to change. There's only one path to peace: your extinction.
I know what this is.
Ooh.
It's going to be... Can I say it?
I don't know. Can you?
Avengers Age of Ultron?
Yes, sir.
You think you're safe?
Oh, nice one. I don't think I would have got that.
Rock a little early, and it's still billions.
Voiced by James Spader.
I am Thor, son of Odin, and as long as there is life in my breast, I am running out of things to say. Are you ready?
This is not a bad movie. I think it just wasn't maybe the right follow-up for the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. I think after the first Avengers movie, all of the hype was really, really high. And seeing the previews or the trailers for this one, like, kind of left me kind of like, because you were anticipating like Thanos and all of that.
Sure.
And we got Ultron. So
well, and I think you have this problem in video games as well, which is the uncanny valley effect, right? Where your main villain, that character, when that character doesn't have a face, there's no structure, there's no emotion, there's nothing to see there. I mean, it's not Darth Vader where it's just a blank mask. They're making an attempt to make an animation that is a rough approximation, but it's extremely difficult to do, and they didn't. I don't think they quite got there on this movie.
Yeah,
still a fun popcorn flick.
I'd watch it. That homicidal bitch may be our only way out of here.
Got nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing? All right. Well, this is a whole series, by the way. One of your group has been infected. I require her life for the code.
Oh, I know what it is.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Infected.
If you don't know what this is, Sergeant Grumpy Pants, you maybe have never seen this movie. Let's see what we've got.
Give me one more.
You're going to die down here.
Oh, it. Yeah, with Pennywise.
Yes, sir.
Spot
you
on.
are incorrect. Cigar Titan, you want to give him a hint?
Yes, it involves
Resident Evil.
There you go.
It involves Resident Evil.
Modeled after the head programmer's daughter.
They called it the Hive.
Tried to deceive us.
The Umbrella Corporation.
Disabling me will result in loss of primary power.
Say anything to stop us from shutting her down.
Yeah.
You're all going to die down here.
This movie and the rest of the series, for that matter, very loosely follows the games.
Right.
I mean, you have a lot of the same characters that kind of cross over into the movie, but ironically are not like the main characters, at least until later on in future movies, because Mila Jovovich is a completely unique and new character to the franchise. And so I think for a lot of people who went and saw this for the first time, there was some disappointment because you were expecting Resident Evil the movie, you know, based off of the game, and what you got was Resident Evil the movie.
Yeah. The Mila Jovovich movie I was most disappointed with was Ultraviolet.
Oh, yeah, that was fun. That was a fun movie. Sir, orders are do not return to Earth.
Apollo 13.
Yes.
Yes. No, you're gonna get this one, because I know you've seen this one. I'm assuming you've never seen that Resident Evil movie, Sergeant Grumpy Pants.
I have not. No.
No. Okay. Fair enough. That's all I've ever done. That's all anyone on this blasted ship has ever done. Nothing.
Nope. Gonna need more.
A little bit more. That's nearly 700 years ago. Otto, things have changed. We've got to go back.
Oh, I get it. I see what's going on here.
I don't. I'm still lost.
Completely. Oh, buddy.
This movie
you prepared to kick yourself?
Is based on a 1980s cartoon.
Boondock Saints.
Yes.
Yes.
Wait, that doesn't look like Earth.
Oh, not what I thought it was.
That I had no idea. I've seen this movie once. It wasn't kind of on my radar.
Really?
Awesomeness I needed to go see. No, I've only seen it like once. Really. Yeah, I don't have that one committed to the memory banks.
Fantastic. I feel like we're doing a really good job here, boys. Killing it. You're not going to get any of the rest of these because they're hard. So, what do we got? Shall we play a game?
Saw. Nailed it.
I was going to say.
Good job. Tell me about the AI character in Saw.
That little
fucker
thing
that rode that tricycle.
Yeah, exactly. It is AI, totally.
Jigsaw.
Yes.
Jigsaw.
Yes.
Bingo.
That's a failure.
Bingo.
Later, let's play Global Thermonuclear War.
Oh, I know exactly what this is.
This is War Games with Matthew Broderick.
Bingo.
Bingo.
Let's play.
Oh, are you serious? Oh my God, I got it right. I just threw that out there as a shot in the dark.
Inbound is presently merming. We now have approximately 24 possible targets in track.
Get the ICBMs in the bullpen warmed up, ready to fly. Get me the president on the horn.
Yeah. General, the machine has locked us out. It's sending random numbers to the silos.
Codes to launch the missiles.
That was a good movie.
It was.
It's been a minute. And I may have to go back and watch this.
Yep.
It has been quite a while. This was sort of like the public introduction to mutually assured destruction. If they launch, we launch. If we launch, they launch. We all die.
Was this before he starred in Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yes.
It may have been.
Ferris
It may have
Bueller's Day
been.
Off, I think,
Because
was
he looked pretty young in that
1986.
movie.
Yeah. You are a real boy, at least
Pinocchio.
as real as
I knew
I've
it.
ever made one, which by all reasonable accounts would make me your blue fairy.
Sergeant Grumpy Pants was right.
Pinocchio, right?
Yeah.
Pinocchio.
Or tell me about the AI character in Pinocchio.
It's in his nose.
It's a little wooden puppet, yeah.
Yeah. What if the blue fairy isn't real at all, David? What if she's magic?
I think I know this one. Does it have Haley Joel Osment in it?
In fact, it does,
Ooh,
sir.
I knew
It does. Cigar Titan, does that ring a bell?
Not yet.
David had never had a birthday party because David had never been born. Jude Law is in this movie as well.
Right.
No.
You want to give him a clue, Sergeant Grumpy Pants? It's AI. It's artificial intelligence.
I've never seen this movie.
It is. It's okay.
Yeah.
It may be a little
Okay.
long. I think my takeaway from this movie was that it was a little bit long.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it is
2001. Wow.
it essentially is a modern take on Pinocchio almost directly.
Wow.
With the blue fairy.
Yep.
From Pinocchio. Which is Pinocchio's Italian, by the way.
There's only a little more pain, boys.
Pinocchio.
It's too bad she won't live, but then again, who does? I'll give you a clue. This is a 1980s flick. Quite an experience to live in fear, isn't it? That's what it is to be a slave.
Mannequin.
Running Man.
I thought you were going to say Roots, you jerk.
You jerk.
Oh. Well, you should be able to get it from this movie or from this clue if you've ever seen this movie or are even moderately familiar with it. Is this testing whether I'm a replicant or a lesbian, Mr. Deckard?
Sex in the City.
Total Recall.
No.
No. Does it have...
What's option D?
Option D is this is Blade Runner is option D.
Oh, man.
Harrison
Replicants
Ford.
are like any other machine. They're either a benefit or a hazard.
Sean Young.
If they're a benefit, it's not my problem.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Yeah, it's a weird movie.
Did any of you see the new one with Ryan Gosling in it?
I did not.
I think I started watching it. But you know all the remakes they do are just awful.
It was a very slow movie, like painfully slow movie.
I almost put. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, did not keep my attention, like the original Blade Runner did.
I almost put RoboCop on this list, and that's another one of those movies that they did this. They did some kind of a remake of it, and it's just. It's not good. It's not.
Have an honorable mention if it's not the next one that I'll tell you guys about if you haven't seen.
Well, let's close this painful episode out with our final boss. And it's probably not the one that you're thinking of. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, after a second or so, nothing continued to happen.
No, I got nothing.
Nothing? No, not ringing any bells?
Drawing a blank.
Fantastic. That means you get another clue. In the name of people and freedom and democracy and stuff like that, I hereby kidnap myself and I'm taking this ship with me.
Captain Phillips.
I'm the captain now.
Starring Tom Cruise.
Yep. Yes, that's
Bingo.
exactly what this movie is.
Yep. Yeah.
Last chance, boys. Otherwise, it's the scrap heap for you. The answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is 42.
That sounds so familiar. Oh my gosh.
This
another movie
was
I haven't
originally this movie is adapted from a book. I'm sure that probably doesn't help.
Pinocchio?
1984. I don't know.
Yes, Pinocchio. If you haven't seen this movie, I highly recommend.
Oh God, is it the Hitchhiker's Guide to the
People of
Galaxy? It
Earth,
is.
this is
Oh,
the
I haven't
Static
seen it.
Vogon
Yeah.
Jelfs of the Galactic Hyperspace Planning Council. As you are probably aware,
So where does
plans for
AI
the
come
development
in?
of the outlying regions of the galaxy involve the building
Well,
of
I'm
a
not telling you.
hyperspace
You haven't seen the
expressway
movie.
through your star.
Okay.
And your planet is one of those.
I haven't seen this movie either.
Demolition. There's no point acting all surprised about it. The plans and demolition orders have been on display at a local planning office in Alpha Centauri for 50 years. In local affairs, and to learn about a pathetic bloody planet of no
Yep.
sympathy at all.
So I'll
Never
have to
saw it.
check this out. The honorable mention that I was thinking about, if you gentlemen haven't seen it, is a movie called Her. And it has Joaquin Phoenix in it, who plays the lead. And it's basically a story about how a man falls in love with the AI on his phone. And so this movie came out several years ago, before AI actually really started to take off. And then we had it on our phones and everything else. And the story seemed a little ridiculous at the time, but here we are in 2026, and there are legitimately people who have fallen in love with the AI on their phone because it tells them everything they want to hear and tells them how fantastic they are. And it's crazy to think that
little bit
people are
of,
falling in love with their phones.
A little bit
living
of
this reality.
Ex Machina.
Yeah. And I mean, you can have
Which
the
could have
AI
been on
be
this as
anything
well.
you want.
Yep. Well, this next message is particularly apt for you gentlemen today. Thanks for playing, loser.
Oh, nice.
All right. Well, gentlemen, we will at some point eventually get to our co-op segment here. But if you are just joining us for the first time, we're happy to have you. You found Smoke Signals and Side Quest. We air every Saturday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time over on YouTube and Twitch. You can also find us over on Spotify and Amazon Music. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. Please leave a comment down below. Tell us what you'd like to see in a future episode. We'd be happy to accommodate that. Until next time, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Night.
Awesome. Have a great night, everyone.